Okay, let's start. Okay, so Lightning in a post-covenant world. All right, I am Stu or STUTXO on everywhere. This little cat, not affiliated with OpCat in any way, but I am. Recently, featured in Bitcoin Magazine by Shinobi, where he roasted me for my past financial mistakes buying shitcoins and ICOs. But yeah. Okay, so what even is a layer 2? I guess this word is used a lot when people talk about layer 2s, the unilateral exit. It's where you have a protocol and you can, like a layer 2, and you can exit the layer 2 anytime you want without anyone stopping you, okay? And this word is just used like way too much, so I have this great joke. If I hear someone say unilateral exit one more time, I'm going to leave and no one can stop me. There you go. There's a few people laughed. That was good. Okay, so there's this website, L2 Watch, L2.watch, and it has all these apparently Bitcoin layer 2s listed here. I'm pretty sure the only one that is actually a real layer 2 is Lightning. So yeah. This is kind of the best, I don't know if lightness is a word, but I'll just put that in there. But yeah, this is like the best we have right now. It's growing every year. There's more people using it. We have exchanges integrating, Coinbase integrated, which has seen a lot more like growth in volume. On the network, and yeah, so it's great. It's the best thing we have so far for a Bitcoin layer 2, but I think we can make it better. But why do we need to make it better? Okay, so this is River's Lightning blog, and what they're like, oh, what the next growth thing for Lightning is going to be stable coins. So okay. I mean, that's kind of cool, but it's not very cypherpunk, you know. Stable coins running on Lightning is like, you still have to trust these stable coin entities, and it's not really the cool use case that everyone wants. We want Lightning to be this like payment network using Bitcoin. And yeah, this is current maybe state of Bitcoin, custodian to custodian electronic asset system. We do not want this. We want peer-to-peer digital cash. Okay, and to do this, you know, cash is private to use, and you can self-custody it very easy. Bitcoin is not very private to use, and it's hard to self-custody. You have to manage all these keys. There's a lot to think about for the average person. Yeah, so other issues with Lightning is if we wanted to scale Lightning to the world, everyone is going to need to open a channel. And this is a talk from Ben the Carman at Bitcoin++ last year in Austin. He was saying it would take 6.5 years if all the blocks were full of transactions, 6.5 years just to open the channels to onboard like everyone on Earth, which is it doesn't scale. Peter Todd also mentioned something similar in his Covenant review, where yeah, it's going to take a long time. If you want everyone to own a channel, it's going to take a lot of block space, a lot of fees, and a very long time to create these channels. So how can we fix or help with this issue? Covenants, maybe. Okay, so what are covenants? This is the description of what a covenant is on Google: a binding agreement, a condition, a contract such as a deed or a lease. So yeah, is this a covenant? I don't know, maybe. It's kind of, I think the most basic explanation of what a covenant is. So right now in Bitcoin, if you have a Bitcoin transaction like address, you can spend to anywhere you want, right? If you have the private keys, you can send that Bitcoin to anywhere. Whereas a covenant, you can only send it to a address that was previously agreed upon. So there's literally no other way to spend this transaction other than send it to where you agreed it will be sent to. So that's it really. There is some covenant FUD. There's not much covenant FUD, but one of the ones people normally say is the government will lock up your Bitcoin in this government-approved contract, and then you won't be able to exit without their approval to approved addresses. But it turns out this is what the government are doing. Anyway, they're just launching meme coins. So yeah, and they can do this already with multisig. They could say, oh, you can only spend your Bitcoin if we allow you to. Okay, yeah, and there's not much covenant FUD, especially for CTV, which is the most simple implementation. But effectively, anything you can do with covenants, you can already kind of do with pre-signed transactions, which is how Lightning works. So it's just an easier way to do pre-signed transactions is how I see it. Yeah, so how can covenants help Lightning? They already do, kind of. There's this Bolts Exchange is like a Lightning swap service, and they use Liquid to swap. They already use covenants on Liquid to settle some of their swaps, which is cool. Because a lot of these covenant proposals are already implemented on Liquid itself. And yeah, we've gone over that. Okay, so yeah, how does Lightning work at the moment? To open a channel, you have two people. You send your Bitcoin into a multisig to fund the channel. And then when we're using the Lightning Network, we're sending each other pre-signed transactions, which are these commitments. So I want to update the channel if I'm Alice, and I send 0.1 Bitcoin to Bob. I send him my the updated transaction. We both agree on it, and then we have these chain of states in the Lightning channel. The problem is with this is if Bob decides that he wants to spend an old commitment, he can if he wants, he can try, and then he would just be able to just send the money back to himself in the old state. But how we stop this is every time we make a new pre-signed transaction, Bob will send us his revoke key for the last one. So when Bob tries to cheat, we can just sweep the funds, or Alice can just sweep the funds with the key and take all of the Bitcoin. So this is how Lightning works right now, which, I mean, it works, but you have to keep all this old state. You have to back this up. If you don't, then the other person, they can broadcast their cheat transaction, and you have no way to stop them. And you need to be watching and paying attention all the time for this. So yeah, we kind of went over that. And it does make it harder to implement because you have to worry about all these, the Lightning implementations have to worry about these transactions and how they back them up and stuff. Okay, so how can we make this better? All right, so there's this proposal, L2, which is maybe the worst named proposal ever in Bitcoin, because it's if you're on a podcast and you're talking about L2, it's are they talking about layer 2s or L2 or the new? It's just terrible, okay? So it got renamed to LN Symmetry. So these new channels are symmetry channels. So this is the new name that they're running with. So what is LN Symmetry? It's Lightning channels with no penalty, justice transactions. So there's no way for the users to steal from each other. It makes node management much easier because you don't have to worry about all this old state and less backups required. So this is an example of a symmetry channel. You have the same setup would be like a multisig. So you both send into this multisig, and then when you want to, these are the new commitment transactions, the updates. So when you update your Lightning channel, you're doing it how you normally would, but you're also creating these settlement transactions, pre-signed transactions, so that if So the way this works, like if you didn't have because you need a soft fork for this to work. So at the moment with this, you could do this today, but you have to every update you'd have to actually commit to the blockchain. You'd have to send a transaction. So each of these you'd have to send a transaction, which then completely it's not the Lightning protocol anymore because you're updating on chain. So to make this work off chain, you need like a soft fork. You need like to do this like seek hash no input thing. So when these updates get created, they're like linked together. If I lose the first like transactions, if I don't have a backup, I can always use this latest settlement transaction to sweep the funds and like recover. Like we can because we've already agreed. Alice and Bob have already agreed that this is the like current state of the network, and we can ignore all previous updates and spend from the original multisig that we funded. We can then take that Bitcoin and we can ignore the state, all of the state in between, and then spend the last one that we'd agreed upon without knowing any of the previous stuff. The reason we can do that with a soft fork is at the moment in Bitcoin, if you want to spend these transactions, these updates, you need to know the transaction ID because you need to know the previous outputs. So that when you use like checksig from Stack or checksig verify in multisig, it's checking the full transaction, and when you check the full transaction against your signature, you have to know it has to have the TXID of the previous transaction you're trying to spend. Whereas this won't work with that way because that would mean you have to submit everything on chain to get the TXID that you want to then spend. Whereas with APO or a soft fork that would allow you to have no inputs, no previous outputs in your in the message that you're signing, it allows you to then ignore everything and just go. I can in this latest state, I can include any update. I can include like the past updates, like directly because I can just pass in like this as the input, and it will let me spend it with the correct amount of funds. You also need to make sure these are in like the right order. So there's like a locking. We use like the nlock field to like order them. So you have like this is like 0, then there's 1, 2, and 3, and that ensures that you can like spend them correctly. This is the script. So this is like the op else. This is like the recovery like transaction, and then the first one is like the update transaction. So if anyone ever broadcasts an old one, you have to wait like 10 blocks, so then you can punish them. You can just broadcast your latest state, but you don't need anything else. You just need the current one. And yeah, so you don't need LM penalty. You just need all you need is the current state, and you can spend it. So it seems like this is something that people want. These are some Lightning developers here who say if symmetry channels are enabled, LN devs will build them. So this is good. To be honest, I added this so I can make my music joke. So, well, music too, you can spend if everyone agrees, everyone's online, you can just use the Taproot internal key to spend to wherever you want, and then on chain it just looks like a normal transaction, which is very private, which is music to my ears. Okay. All right. So now we had LN symmetry. Now there's LN Hans. Okay, this is the new latest version, I guess, which is soft fork proposal to include all of these new opcodes. So opctv, checksig from Stack, and then pair commit and internal key. So this is also now been renamed to Hans, maybe because it's just cleaner. And okay, so here they have this. All right, we need this to do L2. You can do LN symmetry. You can do non-interactive channels. But it turns out you can just do all this with just CTV and checksig from stack. And Christian Decker, who is the author of the L2 white paper, he agrees that this is a good way to move forward. Okay, so what is CTV? It's one of the, I think maybe the first covenant proposals. It has by far the most lore. It's got all these different names. And yeah, it has a cult-like following, I guess. Jeremy Rubin is the author, and his name sounds like a Reuben sandwich. So yeah, now everyone's like, you support this opcode by like spamming sandwiches or something. And this is the first. I had Reuben sandwich for the first time recently, and that was it. So okay. And checksig from stack is the other one. This is a very well named soft fork. It's literally just checking a signature that you push to the stack. Instead of checking the current transaction you're trying to spend, you're checking a signature against a message that you've pushed. Yeah, so you can do what we discussed before with CTV and checksig from stack. The way it works is, before I explained, you need a way to not include the previous output in the transaction that you're signing and sharing. So the way you do that with like any prev out is you no longer need that in the message you're signing. Whereas if you did it, we don't have that soft fork, so you need, if we had just had check template verify and checksig from stack, you would run your you would verify the message on the stack, which is the check template verify hash, which determines where you can send the Bitcoin. So I can only send like 0.5 Bitcoin to Alice and 0.5 to Bob, and it has their addresses specified. And you know that it's been signed by Bob and Alice because you can use their signature that they provided to check it against the CTV hash. And the CTV hash does not include the previous outputs. So it can input any of the previous like TX IDs that we mentioned here. So it can spend the original funding. The original funding has like 1 Bitcoin each. And then the CTV output can use this input instead with if the like lock time is the correct state progressed. It can use that to sweep the funds and override any of these previous transactions. And you don't need to keep these either. Okay, so it's possible with CTV, and this is like maybe the most likely soft fork that we'll get for covenants is CTV plus checksig from stack. So it's good that this is possible. Okay, so other cool stuff you can do. Cold channels this is like other cool stuff you can do with just covenants and Lightning in general and CTV. I like the cold channel idea. This is a good thread by Owen that kind of CTV peeled me. But it means you can open Lightning channels without actually opening a channel. Because if you, in the CTV like hash in the transaction, you can say, okay, the only way I can spend this is by sending it to an LSP or to someone else to open a channel. So then you can send your Bitcoin into your cold storage from your exchange, and it's just sitting there. And then when you want to spend it, the only way you can actually get the Bitcoin out is to open a Lightning channel. So then your service provider, you can share with them, oh, I've locked my Bitcoin in this hash, and they can verify it. And then they can use that as evidence. They know now that, oh, you're going to eventually have to open a channel with me. So now it's like we have a channel open. It's the same thing. But there is no channel. It doesn't exist, but it does. But yeah. And then you can expand that idea to kind of make joint channels. Instead of just doing this for one person, you could do it for like multiple people, which is pretty cool. And this is more example. You can do like non-interactive channels. So if I wanted to open a channel, or Alice wants to open a channel with Bob, at the moment you need both of them to commit the funds and create the channel. But with this, you could just let Alice create the channel and specify the like the outputs, which is cool. So covenants also enable payment pools, which you could use for like channel factories. This improves privacy. The idea is that everyone's sharing a UTXO, and then they can exit from this UTXO anytime they want, unilateral exit. And yeah, this is a good, because if you're all sharing the same UTXO on chain and you exit, it's very difficult to tell who's left, because you're all mixed into this one UTXO. And it's also a good way, like you can share the fees when you're closing these channels. Everyone can agree to just share the fees, so it makes it easier to exit on chain. Yeah, and if you always wanted to be a part of something, then this is a good way to do that. And you can open multiple channels at the same time. So everyone can send their Bitcoin to this shared UTXO, and it'll have all these leafs and paths to spend, and it'll like the only way to spend is again to open the channels. And this is some more stuff. You can do like a more advanced version of this, I guess, timeout trees, where you're using like an LSP. Maybe this is like just a different. It's kind of like a different L2, I guess. But yeah, you can create these states and like tree like payment pools and interact with like an LSP and make it really like easy for people to use. And then there's another crazy named proposal: laddered timeout tree structured Decker Wattenhofer factories with pseudo spill and leaves. I don't actually know what this is. That's as far as I got for reading this. But yeah, this actually doesn't need covenants, and you can do some crazy cool timeout tree stuff with just pre-signed transactions and LSPs, which is cool. But yeah, any questions at all?